here we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Incorporeal, we have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the Blue Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the German Protoss player. We have the Red Protoss representing Sentinels. It is ShoWTimE. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Will it go the way of our German Protoss or our South Korean Zerg? I'll be honest, in my mind, this is going to be a close one. It's going to be a close one here. I mean, I said the same about Beyond and Creator. And again, I don't think the scoreline was really reflective of the series. Game 2 was more dominant from Beyond, true, but Game 1 was very close. Game 1 was very back and forth. I could have very easily seen Game 1 go either way. Similarly here, ShoWTimE and Solar are also very close in skill, and we'll see how Solar's able to respond. Solar, he has had a bit of a rougher return to StarCraft. What I mean by that is post-EWC. EWC post Esports World Cup, a lot of players, they went on a bit of a vacation. We had Clem going to, I think he went to Croatia. I think Clem went to Croatia for a vacation. Likewise, I think Solo took some time off. Hero took some time off. Like, a lot of players did take some time off and did take a break from the game. And in Solo's return, has been looking a little bit more shaky here, especially against other Protoss players. But we'll see if he can bring down ShoWTimE. Let's go. Solar's typical approach in this matchup is all-ins. We do often see a lot of 3-base all-ins out of Solar. Now, they do vary, right? There are Ling Hydra-based all-ins, there are Doom drops as well, there are German taxis, there's Roach-based play. So we'll see what form of aggression Solar goes for, if any. As welcome to Incorporeal. Incorporeal is one of the larger maps in the map pool. Much larger map, longer rush distance by ground. If you remember, we actually casted ShoWTimE a couple of days ago in Little League Cup versus Shin on this map, and ShoWTimE went the distance. If you remember, it was like over an hour-long series, and Game 1 was on Incorporeal. The map was cut in half, and we got to see why you often don't see late game on this map, or we see Zerg players try to avoid that because of these center bases. These center bases, they're so difficult to maintain. We were going over it, but basically ShoWTimE, he had a maxed out Skytoss army, and Shin could not take this expansion because ShoWTimE from the other side of this terrain could just shell away at this area and ensure that Shin could never keep up with the base count of ShoWTimE. The terrain here it's just so difficult to take these center bases as the Zerg if we get to that kind of game state. As I mentioned, Solar, he often tries to end it early. He often does try to end things early. He often does not want to play against late game Skytoss. I mean, no one does. Hi. But here we go. ShoWTimE is one of the best at getting to that point, so we're expecting a bit of a slower style out of ShoWTimE. He can cheese, for sure, but he can. He can cheese, he can be hyper-aggressive. We saw that against Raynor in his series during the qualifiers for EWC, but that's not often the case for ShoWTimE. Has the capacity for it, but often does take it slow. ShoWTimE is claiming his third base again, just a Stargate opener, Stargate into a third. Double Oracle, could go up to triple. Into Twilight Council, +1, Forge, Blink. This is an early Twilight Council. Okay. Hello. Typically, you wait until the base is halfway done, then we see the Twilight Council in the Forge. Because the Twilight Council is so early, there is no Forge, there's no upgrades, we have extra gateways. This screams Glaive Adepts. Now, there is a build where you can go into really early Blink. This could be Blink instead, so you go into early Blink, and then you can be aggressive really early on with earlier Blink Stalkers, but that's more of a niche build. I'm leaning more towards Glaives here. We'll see. What's it going to be? There it is, Glaive Adepts. As you mentioned, the sign was just how early the Twilight Council was and the fact that there was no Forge. So it did scream Glaive Adepts. As I mentioned, there's that niche build where you can go into Blink. Just wanted to at least mention that. For now, we have +1 melee. Ooh, Solar. is going into early Eva Chamber, into early plus on melee, so he's going into Ling Bane, into Hydra production. He's going to be skipping roaches. Thankfully, he's getting a safety Baneling nest. If he didn't have this nest on the way, then Glaive Adepts could just kill him. Straight up, they could just kill Solar. So the Baneling nest does mean that there is, I should say, Solar has the tools to defend. He has the tools to defend. If he can morph in Banelings in time, if he can keep up with the shades, then he can defend. If he skipped his Baneling nest, then he'd be in a dire position. Ooh, he scouts. Yeah, it does spot the attempted hidden Adepts. We have more Adepts on the way. We can see here Solar, he's not droning, he's massing up Zerglings. He knows something is wrong. He sees! It does spot the move out, he's fully aware. And we have defensive Banelings on the way, so nice scouting here by Solar. Oh, he attempts to drag the Adepts back home. But we have the Oracles. Yeah, the Oracles, they do defend. Adepts, they move out, but remember, there are Banelings to defend back at home. They're ready. Good position here with the natural. Adepts going for the Queens. Big Witch is Shade. Ooh, he does Shade in. Banelings are ready. And ShoWTimE, he does splits. Nice spread. Very nice spread there with the Adepts. Ooh, and the Banelings, they don't get enough done. Adepts are shading into the main base. Solar, he's racing back home. The Banelings were good, but maybe not good enough. It's still close. There's not that many Adepts left. Solar, he'll defend. He'll hold. He will hold on. Will cost him 5 drones, but that's better than losing the game. that's better than losing a mineral line. So Solar, he holds, he defends. Not the cleanest defense. Likewise, he was wasting some lings across the map. And ShoWTimE now is able to get into a longer game state. Later +1, later Forge, but it's on the way. Blink is in production. And because Solar had to invest so heavily into Ling Bane, it means that his drone count is lackluster. The drone count, the economy is very low here for Solar, so he has to drone up as hard as he can. Hydra Den is on the way. As we mentioned, going to early +1 melee screams Ling Bane into Hydra, or Ling Hydra. There's a niche build where you can go Ling into Ultra, but that's crazy. Like that's it's been a while since we've seen that in the meta. It's been a while. Stasis gets baited. As ShoWTimE, he spots the Zerglings. ShoWTimE, he does not get surrounded. And Solar, he does drone up to 83. He has droned up. Now he can mass up his Hydras. And based on his high drone count, we're expecting infestation pits. We'll see though. Solar, he may just decide to max out with Ling Hydra. If Solar takes extra gases, then he can afford Hive Tech and Lurkers. We'll see where he goes. For now, ShoWTimE is just waiting for Storm. He's already gathering energy here on the High Templar. Storm is on the way. I'm a little bit concerned for Solar. If Solar does decide to max out with purely Ling Bane Hydra, then if this push fails, he will fall behind. Again, Solar, he's not taking. There's no pit, there's no hive, there's no lurker den. It's not here. He's maxing. Okay. It's all or nothing here for Solar. He's maxing out. He's got a high drone count, but no further attack. And we'll see if he can break ShoWTimE. Bailey's rolling in. Archon's in position. Main army on the right-hand side. It all comes down to the storms. Stasis goes up. Storms are connected. Oh, we're sending in the storms. Oh, it does send in the storms. No Hydra speed. Yeah, Hydra speed is still on the way. Ay, ay, ay. Solar pushing out without his upgrade and anti-timing, and with that, ShoWTimE defends. ShoWTimE, he defends, he holds on. Ay, ay, ay. Speed is just now finishing up. And we mentioned it, like, Solar, he's all in. Like, sure, he's on a high economy, he has a high drone count, but remember, he's not taking up at all. Like, he has to get damage done here. And ShoWTimE doing his best, I mean, living up to his name. That's the goal here. Nice storm of the Banelings. Do we have any High Templar on the left-hand side? No Templar, no storms. Oh. Yeah, no storms here for ShoWTimE. He's now rallying over. Banelings, they get shut down. And ShoWTimE holds. ShoWTimE, he does hold on. High Templar, they're safe. That's a lot of storms on a small group of Hydras. That was a lot of storms being spent. That is concerning. And again, Solar, there's nothing else here. Like, we gotta keep going. Like, Solar, he's gotta commit. He's gotta double down. There's nothing else here. The aggression continues. And ShoWTimE and High Templar, he's down to 2. He's down to 2 High Templar. Again, we saw he was panicking a little bit with his storms earlier. Very nice storm though. But we need to warp in more Templar. There's only 2. ShoWTimE, where are those warp ins? Solar, he backs off for a moment. He's taking another expansion. We can see a couple of drones on the way. But he still refuses to get a hive. Solar, very clearly, he just wants to end the game. He just wants to end it. Either he kills ShoWTimE or he dies trying. One or the other. Speaking of, ShoWTimE, still a very low High Templar count. Because of that, we gotta make every storm count. We gotta make him count. First one zones. No banelings, so Zealous, they can thrive here. And no banelings here for Solar. And now finally, he, in a way, almost admits defeat. He's like, this isn't working. Infestation Bit. Infestation Bit's on the way. Lurker Den's on the way. Hive is on the way. Solar, he has admitted he cannot kill ShoWTimE. Oh, in saying that, though, he's coming in from behind. No Storm. And no Storm. Banelings is going for the mineral line. Can he get in? He can. The boys, they pull away. They pull away. Banelings, they crash in, and they will get a couple of workers here. 5 probes go down. Not what he was hoping for. He wanted more. Did want more. Only 5 worker kills. So Solar now is taking up. Now, for ShoWTimE, he has a pretty robust army, but he hasn't teched into Skytoss. If we had a Fleet Beacon behind this, like a Fleet Beacon, a Stargate, we could start Carrier and Tempest production, but ShoWTimE doesn't really have that setup. So he's so stuck defending, and Solar, he may successfully get into Lurkers. There's a Fleet Beacon. I would say a little bit late. A little bit late here for ShoWTimE. I do think, especially earlier after he successfully defended, like there were signs that he could tech up and invest. So a little bit late here for the Protoss. Now, because this Fleet Beacon is so late, it does mean that now there is a window where Solar can make Lurkers and can try to break ShoWTimE before Skytoss. So there is a window here, pre-Skytoss, where Solar could try to break him. And here they come. Here come the Lurkers. So Lurkers are on the way. Again, Fleet Beacon is not yet done. So there is still a chance here for Solar. But the Lurkers are getting caught out. We're losing one. Losing one Lurker already. Oh, brutal storms on the Zerglings. Rough start for Solar. Also, ShoWTimE now scout. Now he knows, right? Now he knows that Lurkers have hit the field. Now he's aware. Nice storm on the Hydras. As ShoWTimE doesn't get the expansion. Ooh, bleeding out a High Templar. Bleeds out a Templar. Tempest production has begun. And Solar, we're going to make use of these Lurkers. ShoWTimE is out of position. This base is exposed. Yeah, the entire army is here in the center. ShoWTimE now he has to move into Lurkers. He's racing back. ShoWTimE trying to set up a surround. But who's catching who? Solar, he's almost within range. There's a revelation. Yeah, Lings are being dealt with. The Lurkers are on their own. Oh, but the Archons are going down. Yeah, a bit of a messy fight here for ShoWTimE. Yeah, very messy, but the Lurkers are being cleaned up. Takes down a couple of High Templar. There's one Lurker, the detection. The one Lurker. I want to say he killed 2 High Templar. But nice cleanup. A very nice cleanup here. Every Lurker goes down. Solar, he did not get within range of the base. He was just barely out of range. If he could take down the expansion and the mineral line, then maybe that would have been worth it. That was a big loss for Solar. Ay, ay, ay. And now the Tempests have arrived. And he didn't get the base. Didn't get the expansion. That was not worth it. but he is spreading ShoWTimE thin. This is one of the big features of Incorporeal. Once you get up to 5 bases, this base on the right and the base on the left are so spread out. Do we have Cloak? There we go. Cloak is activated. No detection. Overseer is now coming in. Never mind. Overseer has arrived. But once again, there's no support for the Lurkers. And Lurkers have to get the... Oh, actually. Yeah, some of them are cloaked. Remember, there's no Observer. At the same time, Solar, he moves in. Again, ShoWTimE gets dragged to one side, then dragged to the other. He is very spread out. And what does he need? Cannons. We need cannons and shield batteries at both fringe bases as quickly as possible. Cannons, they don't necessarily defend. They don't defend bases, but they buy time. They buy time. They allow the Protoss to actually rotate and to respond. That's the purpose of cannons and shield batteries. But again, ShoWTimE, he's been bleeding out a lot of units. Lurker moves in. Again, there's just the mothership here to defend. Corruptors are going for the mothership. And mothership is exposed. Massive pickup. And the mothership is going to go down. Very nice. Got some mothership. Solar, he rotates over towards the base. ShoWTimE out of position. And the expansion finally goes down. Oh no! Okay. I was scared for a minute. It's all good, it's all good. He pulled away 1 second too early, but he had the Lurker. Lurker's in position. One Archon gets caught out. Nicely done. Every unit counts. Speaking of, ShoWTimE has had enough defending. He's going for a massive counterattack. Solar, he responds. Everything turns back around. Picks off 2 Lurkers. 3 Lurkers even. 4? Uh-oh. 4 Lurkers go down for Zealots. Can we get 5? 5 Lurkers. Jesus. 5 Lurker kills. Very nice. ShoWTimE moves in, and now it's Solar's turn to be out of position. Now it's Solar's turn to be pulled apart. It goes both ways. Again, these bases are so spread out. So the aggressor has that advantage. Whether it's Zerg or Protoss. Ooh, as we're pushing into Lurkers. That's a bold move. Especially with a low immortal count. I say low immortal, non-existent immortal count. But we're getting messy. We're getting messy here again. ShoWTimE, he can't really afford the site defense that he needs. That's why these bases are so vulnerable. That's why these run-bys can achieve a lot of damage. ShoWTimE doesn't have a bank yet. Meanwhile, Solar able to get his Spire up and running. We do have 1-0 upgrades here for the Corruptors. Things getting caught. When it comes to the main armies, ShoWTimE's army is still lacking. I mentioned earlier the immortal counts, and now we're finally getting a couple of immortals. Immortals, they are a little bit more ideal here when it comes to a high lurker count army, and the lurker count is quite high. So we're lacking immortals. When it comes to the Tempest count here, 5 Tempest is okay. Oh, High Templar exposed. Lings, they don't get any. 1 Templar goes down. It's 1 Templar and then gets another. Yeah, 2nd Templar goes down as well. Had high energy. Bit of miscontrol there from ShoWTimE. Lings, a delay +2. Delay +2. Solar expanding in the center. Bold move from Solar. Trying to take the center expansion. Alright guys, ShoWTimE, we shouldn't be able to hold on to the fringe base on the right. Looks like we'll also be cancelled. Also in the Revelation. Here come the Vipers though. Nice snipe. Nice doink. Gets 1 Tempest. Now we're down to 4. Got a very low Tempest count. Lurkers, they move in, but they move into detection. Oh, Solar, big overextension. That was what, 5 Lurkers going down? For nothing. Okay. ShoWTimE expands. And we need that setup. We need those candles into the shield batteries. We need to set up here as quickly as possible. We have some side defense here on the left. ShoWTimE, he's now making use of his bank. Or I should say he's building a bank up. ShoWTimE looking a little bit more secure. Meanwhile, we have +2 on the way for the Corruptors. Oh, Solar running into the Archons. 2 more Lurkers go down. And this time, ShoWTimE was ready. As he still has Storms. They are landing. Gets another Lurker. Down to 7. 7 Lurkers left. ShoWTimE, his main army rotates. He's pushing out. There's no Lurkers to defend. Cannons are finishing. Again, they're just buying time. Ooh, the drones, they club. Oh, the Archons, can they get in? He gets 1 shot. Gets 1 shot. 7 drones do fall. Ooh, but the Archons are overextending. Yeah, the Archons are overextending. 1 Archon goes down. Getting a 2nd. And a 3rd. Yeah, the Observer falls, and this is a bit of awkward control here from ShoWTimE, losing another Archon. So a little bit messy here from ShoWTimE. Leading out a lot of high-tech units. Oh my god, but he does find a mineral. Jesus, he gets a full mineral line. Ay, ay, ay. And with that ShoWTimE, he will claim game number 1. GG. 22 drones in the center of the map. Ay, ay, ay. GG, well played, ShoWTimE. He cripples the economy. You could argue unintended, like unintentionally so. But he got a base on the left, and he got a full mineral line in the center. And with that, Solar does tap out. GG, ShoWTimE takes the lead, and now we're getting into game number 2, and we'll see what map we load into. Again, Incorporeal is known for these longer games just because of the amount of bases, just because of the rush distance by ground. It was still a very aggressive and very dynamic game, just because of, as we mentioned, how spread out the bases were. So we saw there were a lot of bases that were undefended, and we saw both players losing bases, losing mineral lines, losing a lot of workers. It was very intense. As a reminder, Solar initially did go for an all-in. He initially went for an all-in. If you remember, initially, like, it took him so long to get an infestation pit. It was at like what, 11, 12 minutes where he got the pit for the first time. He was trying to kill ShoWTimE early. He failed to do so. ShoWTimE had some very impressive defense, and oh, what was the veto process? Game 2 is Tokamak. Oh boy. We'll get into it. I'm a little bit shocked. We'll see. We'll see what the plan is coming into Tokamak. Oh boy. Ay, ay, ay. As we are jumping into game number 2. As spawning in the top right-hand corner of Tokamak, we have the German Protoss player. We have the Red Protoss representing Sentinels. Leading the series 1-0, it is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the Blue Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. We go. Whew. And as you can imagine, my reaction is I stand by it. I'm a little bit shocked here that we have game 1 Incorporeal, game 2 Tokamak. So what I'm getting at here, Incorporeal, Tokamak, and Maganatha. These 3 maps are the 3 largest maps in the map pool. There's a lot of bases, longer rush distances by ground, and these 3 maps typically favor a player that is trying to get into a longer game, get into the late game. And we saw that in Incorporeal. We saw that. We saw Solar attempt and fail to kill ShoWTimE early, and ShoWTimE snowballed out of control, getting into the late game. It was more complicated than that. There was a back and forth, and we saw that, you know, ShoWTimE was taking some losses, Solar was taking some losses, but the map itself was assisting when it came to getting to that game state for at least ShoWTimE. Tokamak is known for being the most defensive map. It's a large map and it's more defensive. As opposed to Incorporeal, these bases are closer together. Your second, third, fourth, and even fifth bases there. A lot more closer, a lot more tight-knit. The terrain as well, there's a lot of high ground, there's a lot of points of elevation, so it is easier to take these stances and defend and deflect pushes. This map is known, and this is the map for longer and later games. So I'm going to be favoring ShoWTimE getting into this, and Solar will have to have a different approach. If he couldn't break ShoWTimE on Incorporeal, I don't see him breaking ShoWTimE here on Tokamak. We could try to beat him to the late game. We could see Solar try to rush into earlier gases, into an earlier infestation bit, into earlier lurkers. There are builds where you can be very tech heavy. You can rush into lurkers early and then try to hit with lurkers and kill with lurkers as quickly as possible. There are builds that incorporate that kind of style. Likewise, on these larger maps, Mutaplay. You can try to open up Roach, go for a hidden Spire, go into Mutas, catch your opponent off guard, and try to take a lead that way. There are other things that you can try to incorporate and try to go for. I would assume that Solar's going to try to do something cheeky here. I would assume that he doesn't want to get into a standard macro game. But the pressure is on Solar here. No boy. Pressure is on Solar. As for now, standard opener, Stargate opener here out of ShoWTimE. Getting back into, what the map favors and the styles that we're seeing. ShoWTimE last game, if you remember, he did go into Glaive Adepts. I don't see that happening here. We're expecting a standard opener and a standard game and a very defensive style out of ShoWTimE. And he might even be overly defensive, but that's okay on Tokamak. Like, you can sacrifice some of your economy and get a late 4th base and a late 5th base, but you can just take it slow and steady, slowly expand, and slowly branch out and take a bit of a slower pace game here. That is more viable on Tokamak. As I would say, it is harder to contain your opponents and harder to stop them from expanding. Meanwhile, Adepts shade into the main. 1, 2 drones already going to be going down. Getting to 3, getting 4. Oh, 4 drone kills. That is a rough start for Solar. That should not have happened. Typically, we're hoping for like maybe a 1-to-1 trade. But very nice starts. Back at home, ShoWTimE, he's got his Oracles. Second Oracle's on the way. We can see Solar trying to counterattack. And he will threaten the Stalker, but the Oracle's here. The Overlord goes down. ShoWTimE looking very comfortable. He's looking very in form here. Very on top of things. He shuts down the Link counterattack. He gets economic damage done across the map. He's getting his 3rd base. Ooh, hello. Twilight Council's on the way. Now, this Twilight Council is slightly later than last game, but it's still pretty early. It's still pretty early here. I don't see a Forge. Extra gateways are on the way. We'll see if he throws down another gateway, and he goes up. Yeah, there we go. 4-gate setup. I just said that I don't think he was going to go into Glaives like we saw last game, but this is the setup to go into Glaives. We'll see if he goes into Glaives or Blink. Regardless, we're going into earlier Twilight Council, earlier tech. Lair first. Lair first out of Solar. There's a lot to get into here. As a reminder, last game we saw Evo Chamber first into early +1 melee into Lingbane Hydra. Here it's an earlier lair, which means there's a higher chance this Evo Chamber is going to +1 range, not melee. If that's the case, we spoke about this style where you can try to rush into earlier lurkers. That's going to be on the table here if we're going for earlier range. Meanwhile, we can see it is going to be Blink, not Glaive Adepts. So early Blink out of ShoWTimE. Now, the way this works here is Adepts, they get across the map once again. 2 more drones going down, and can we get even more? We can! Oh, doesn't quite go for it. Doesn't quite go for it. Oracles are in the bases. ShoWTimE is popping off, getting into the main base, getting into the natural as well. Another Stasis Trap on the way, and Solar, he does react. Ooh, does pull away in time. And doesn't take too many losses, thankfully. But again, ShoWTimE is all over this. Now, quickly going back to ShoWTimE here, it's a bit of a give and take. Again, we're expecting ranged. Here we go. Hydrogen is on the way to be. I mean, that is what we expected. Yep, there's that range upgrade. So with this, we can rush into earlier lurkers. When it comes to ShoWTimE's build, because Blink is so fast, he can be active. He can apply pressure. He could deny the 4th. There's a chance where he could. Oh, and I think that's off center. Looking a little bit off center here, but ShoWTimE, he can apply pressure. He's moving out. Remember, Blink is done early. The downside is +1 is late, right? +1 is delayed here for ShoWTimE in favor of this move out. He's pushing in. There's no roaches to defend. Barely any Zerglings. Can he get a queen? Ooh, barely not. Oh, very nice stasis trap though, and ShoWTimE, he might just break him here and now. As Lings, they're coming into support. The Oracles, they don't quite activate their beams. The stasis trap does connect. And Hydras are going down. Very nice trades here from ShoWTimE. Takes off Hydras. We'll start picking up Queens. There's no more energy here for Transfuse. Gets one. And one Queen and barely doesn't get the other. Solar holds. Solar, he does hold on. Whew. We have Roach Speed. That I was not expecting. If we didn't have Roach Speed on the way, I would assume Infestation Bit and Lurkers. Now that we have Roach Speed, Solar, he might just commit with Roach Hydra. Okay, interesting. Roach Speed is a bit of a curveball for me. Okay. As we do get the revelation here, we can see that Solar, he's not droning. He's not droning up his 4th base. He's cutting workers early at 72. That is just over 3 base saturation. And Solar, he's going for the all-in. He may just go for the all-in here. He's not teching, he's not droning. Purely Ling Hydra and Roaches, of course, with Roach Speed. It's go time. Yeah, it is going to be go time here. Now, I mentioned at the start of this game, if Solar couldn't break ShoWTimE on Incorporeal, I don't think he can break him here. We'll see if that holds any water, because you can see how defensive we are. We have cannons and shield batteries at both locations, and it doesn't take long at all to rotate between them as well. Like, again, this map, it's helping ShoWTimE to defend. Tokamak is on ShoWTime's side. The map is biased, He's biased. Gets one, gets 2 cannons. Gets 2 cannons. We have 12 more Roaches on the way. Yep, Solar's all in. So Solar, he's all in. It's all or nothing. Now, Roaches and Ravagers are going to be more robust against Storms. True. Storms are going to be less effective here. As there's a first Storm. A nice snipe on the High Templar. A very nice dive. As Roaches, they did target it down. ShoWTimE trying to respond. Where are the Storms? Storms, yeah, they were delayed. Not on the same hotkey. And with that, Solar, he's breaking through. Yeah, he is breaking through. Takes out another High Templar. And there's a shaky defense here from ShoWTimE. High Templar, they were late. The defensive setup here has been broken. And Solar, he may have just done it. Yeah, it looks like he may have just done it here. He targets down another High Templar. So, and he files down another. Oh my, he's done it. He's done it. We are going to the ace match here. GG gets called. Solar, he does break ShoWTimE. We're going to game 3. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Very impressive Roach play here out of Solar. If you notice, Solar, he kept selecting some small hit squads of Roaches, and he was sniping High Templar. He was sniping the Templar time and time and time again, so we only got a couple of Storms, and we saw ShoWTimE, he was late to rotate. He was late to rotate as High Templar, late to come in with the Storms. By the time they arrived, he had already lost his defensive position, and Solar broke through. Solar, he broke through then and there. Whew, GG, well played. As we mentioned, also a much more robust army here with Roaches. Storm was also less effective, so a very different kind of all-in that Solar went for compared to game 1 did work out here in game 2. GG. GG, well played. He was able to successfully stop ShoWTimE from getting to his late game, from getting into any kind of sky toss, and now we're getting into Ultra Love. This is where things get interesting. I'm ready. I'm ready. Here we go. Whew. As spawning in the right-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the red Protoss player. We have the German Protoss representing Sentinels, being forced into the ace match. Can he bring it back? Can he make it to the finals? It is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the Blue Zerg pulling off his more Roach-based all-in in game number 2. We'll see what he has in store for us here in game 3. It is Solar. Here we go. Okay, so welcome one and all to Ultra Love. Ultra Love is a map of extremes. Ultra, we see a lot of all-ins. This is finally a map where I do favor all-ins here. The rush distance background is shorter. It is much shorter. There are, of course, a lot more exposed bases as well, especially this area here in between the natural, the third, and the fourth base. This area, this location can be abused by the aggressor, and the defending player can have a really hard time rotating and defending and being in location, being where he needs to be at his base to defend and to save either his natural, his third, or his fourth. We often do see a lot of German taxis. We've seen a lot of German taxis, a lot of queen walks across the map just because of that rush distance by ground. We'll see if ShoWTimE expands towards Solar or away from Solar. Same with Solar. Does he expand towards or away from ShoWTimE? That will indicate, that will dictate the crease spread as well, how quickly it gets across the map, and whether or not queens can be a factor. So typically there are a lot of earlier timings and earlier attacks that we see here on Ultra Love. Typically. So we'll see what Solar has up his sleeve. If we see road speed at any point, then we're expecting a German taxi of some kind. Just as a heads up. There is a build that has risen on popularity where you go Ling Hydra on 3 base saturation, you get up to like 70 drones, and you go for a massive drop or doom drop all in into the main. Like, there are builds like that as well that do exist. So we'll see if Solo can pull this off. Meanwhile, standard opener here out of ShoWTimE. Last game we saw the early blink and he did not break the expansion. We spoke about how he could potentially deny the 4th base, but he pushed towards the 3rd instead, and he did not break through the queens. That was his moment. Didn't pull it off. So Solo, what do you have for us? ShoWTimE breaks in, gonna be deflected. Again, ShoWTimE, he had such a strong start last game as well. He had such a strong start, but And again, it got shut down. This time, these adepts should not get anywhere near as much damage. Shades are being cancelled. Building up his second gateway. Now ShoWTimE can expand. Reinforcing with his 3rd adept. Interesting. So he's just keeping up here with Solar. And right now we're waiting for the timing of his Twilight Council. So far, both games we have had early Twilight Councils. Game 1 was for early Glaives, Game 2 was for early Blink. Meanwhile, 420 Lair timing, okay. Very early Lair. This is indicative that we're not going to an Eva Chamber and +1 melee. Show us what you got. Lings, they will surround the adepts. Nice catch. As they do barely shed away. The Oracle does defend. And we do have a Twilight Council and a Forge. Looks like a standard follow-up here. +1 and Blink from ShoWTimE. With the earlier Lair, we can get into Roaches, and we can go for a very similar style that we saw last game. We'll see. See what he invests into with that Lair. No Eva Chamber, no Roach Warren. Adepts stay shaded between the bases. The Lings, they're being shut down. We're diving on the Queens. These Queens, they do respond. Drones are going down. Without any tech. Okay, there it is. I was waiting for it. Hydra Den is on the way. And this may just be a Ling Hydra all in. Now, the reason why I say that is because I'm a little bit surprised. No Eva Chamber. No Eva Chamber, no upgrades. So there's a higher chance that Solar doesn't really intend for the game to go on any longer. Oracle goes down. Nice pick off here from Solar. Gets one of the Oracles. ShoWTimE gets into the middle line, gets one drone. Gets a couple of workers, gets a second drone as well. Gets a third. Nice damage, nice mining time. And this setup here screams all in. Yeah, Lings and Hydras are setting up. We have Hydra range on the way. And we'll see if ShoWTimE can survive this. We'll see if he can survive, we'll see if he can defend. Solar at most, I would expect him to join up to 60 or like 66. 3-base saturation. Even then, he might just cut it early. ShoWTimE, he wants to start trading early. Behind this, working towards the Templar Archives. Getting into Storm. But again, ShoWTimE is playing with fire. Solar, he techs! Infestation Pit. Okay. I mean, he has 0 upgrades. He has no Evo Chamber, but... yeah, it's gonna be late tech. This is a little bit awkward for Solar. It's late Evo Chamber, late upgrades, and yeah, he's taking into Lurkers. Okay. He's not going for the all-in, but he's on a low drone count. It's a very awkward setup here for Solar. It's possible he just changed his mind. It's possible that he realized that he just didn't have enough to sustain himself to commit to an all-in. So I'm favoring ShoWTimE coming into this. There's going to be a window in time where ShoWTimE is going to have Storm, and he can break out. Oh boy. Storm is ready in a couple of seconds. Solar, he's trying to pop off his chest. He cannot afford to lose these Hydras. Again, Solar, he's playing with Fire Pack. We gotta be careful. One wrong move and he will get burned, and ShoWTimE, he gets baited. Okay, good move here by Solar. So basically, because Solar was being so in the face of ShoWTimE, it made it look like Solar wanted to be aggressive and commit when he doesn't. Solar, he's getting a Hive. He's getting a Hive, he's getting +1 range. He is morphing in Lurkers, but he is forcing this more defensive reaction by ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE, he's invested into cannons, shield batteries, knocks down his own tower. ShoWTimE could be aggressive right now. He could be pushing, but he isn't. ShoWTimE is turtling up instead, which is benefiting Solar. This is helping Solar, as now Solar, he's able to expand, able to actually start droning, tech up. Ooh, but Solar, ShoWTimE does notice. No detection. How many Oracles? 1. Only 1 Oracle. 1 Observer as well. ShoWTimE is trying to get into Sky Toss. It looks like he has realized what's been happening. He realized that he was tricked. He was duped. Finds a Lurker. Does find a Lurker. And both players are soon to max out. We'll see what Solar can get done. Solar, he's getting into Adaptive Talons. You can see he's trying to come in from the flank as well. Pushing from both ends. He rotates. Thanks to the revelation, ShoWTimE is aware. Solar pushing into the natural. Ah, but he's exposed. Yeah, Solar, he's exposed. He will lose all these Lurkers. He has to get the hell out of here. Solar does overextend, and Lurkers are going down. Oof. Also, what, 3 Lurkers falling? 5 in total. Solar, he rotates on the right. ShoWTimE in a position. Oh, no! Oh, he move commands in. Yeah, big move command. He runs into the Lurkers, and ShoWTimE, he will lose everything. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, some miscontrol there by ShoWTimE. He had no detection. And Solar, he's done it. Solar, in one swift move here. As ShoWTimE, he just ran into the lurkers. GG gets called, and Solar, he will break ShoWTimE, and Solar will take the series at 2-1, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. ShoWTimE, he was caught out of position. His army was caught in between his bases. He tried to respond to the push, but he had no vision, he had no detection, and he walked into just a field of lurkers. He lost everything. GG, well played. But a shout out to ShoWTimE for making it to the ace match, for making a series out of this. And honestly, I was definitely favoring ShoWTimE coming into this matchup. Congratulations to Solar for claiming the series instead. GG, well played. We're heading over to the Korean server for the grand finals, but we do have something to host before the finals. Let's go. Let us go. We have something special here. Something special. Bam.